Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Today we are talking about measurement. Famous quote. Anybody ever hear this one? Anyone ever hear this one? What's measured improves. It's a really good quote, and it really helped me along the way as I was cobbling together a better journey for myself. Have you ever just kind of stopped and said, wait a minute, things aren't going the way that I want them to go. I've got to reassess. I've got to relook at some of this different stuff that's going on. This is not a time so that we can just beat ourselves up. This is a time that we can start to understand what's up here, what's going on. Hey, Chris. So, can you measure your worth is the question of the day. Can you? Well, I will tell you something about a couple of things that I know about measurements. They need to be precise. If you are measuring to build a house and you're just thinking, it's about 3 feet there and we need about 8 feet over there, boy, are you going to have a wonky looking house, right? It's not going to come out very well. If you're landing a plane, do you think there's some precision involved in that? I don't know. Just a thought. Or even how long your commute is going to be. Or if you set your GPS and you're leaving here from Brevard, North Carolina, and you're going all the way to Taylor, South Carolina, which is what we did yesterday. I bought the most gorgeous headboard for my bed. By the way, Marketplace on Facebook, that's the place to be, by the way. I will tell you, this was a display in a showroom, and boy, oh boy, did we get a screaming deal on it. And it's gorgeous. I'm so excited. I love a deal. Do you love a deal? Pinkies up if you're a deal finder. I love that. Also, and TikTok, I invite you to. I want to hear from anybody who is a pickleball player who's got some great hints, great ideas, good YouTube videos, good TikTok videos, because I'm really, really working hard on my game. By the way, sidebar, are you ready for a sidebar? Here I am talking about measurements, but I had let me put it to you this way. I had such an epiphany this whole weekend. One of the things that I say, because one of the strong things that I have in my, shall we say, in my, the way that I live my life is I'm very strong about my identity. My identity is everything. My identity is the thing that defines who I am and how I show up in this world. And I invite you to really try that on for size for yourself as well, because it really makes a huge difference. When you start to identify with what it is that you want and start to call yourself out as that, then it makes a difference. My identity, and you've heard me say this before, is I am an athlete. Well, I did that when I was really struggling with this whole idea of working out all the time and staying consistent with it. And I just got with the program. But you know what happened? And maybe this is part of the measurement thing. Maybe I can somehow weave this in, but I want to share this because I think it's really important. I am an athlete has shown up in doing something with that athleticism and taking it onto the pickleball courts and playing my heart out for 2 hours and sweating like I've never sweated before in my life and just wearing myself out in a good way. But it showed up and it made me think, wow, that's it. I am an athlete and I show up and I play games and I'm competitive and it's fun. I don't know. I'm just dropping it for anybody who is kind of struggling with whatever their thing is. Identify with what it is that you want and do those things. Okay, just take that little piece of advice and see how it shows up in your life. That's all I'm saying. It can show up in magnificent ways, and that's what happened. But we have to measure, we even have to measure how much sleep we're getting, because if we want to feel our best, if we want to live in a place of optimal health, in optimal everything, then we're gonna want to be looking and going, am I getting enough sleep? Am I going to bed too late? Am I going, do I need to go to bed a little bit earlier? We need to look at that. Do you measure how much hydration you get? I do, because there's an equation for that, by the way. It's your weight divided by 2 equals how many ounces of hydration you should get per day. And everything counts. You know that. Everything counts. Even your coffee, even your tea, even though they're slightly diuretic, yes. The latest research teaches us that everything that's liquid is hydrating. So we take that for face value. And then we add in the water and other things that we need as we drink all the things that we drink. It helps, and it helps us to stay hydrated. We feel better. We feel less tired. Everything improves when we measure how much hydration we're getting a day. Everything improves. But we often measure ourselves, our worth, and in terms that aren't accurate and can be damaging, that can damage our self-worth, damage our identity, damage the women that we are trying to show up in the world as. And it can lead to unhealthy thoughts, it can lead to depression, and it can lead to despair, giving up, and the whole shooting match. We don't want that. So we have measuring tools, right? We all have measuring tools, but there's some measuring tools that maybe need to be dumped. And maybe for now, maybe forever, I don't know. You know this. And it's up for you to kind of put this all together. I'm going to go through a few of them. I think this is really important. The first one is the scale. The scale. What do? We get on the scale, and right there between our toes is a number. And that number determines, for many women, I've heard it over and over. Listen, 28 years of doing nutrition coaching and being a nutritionist, I have heard everything. And to have the scale dictate your worth, having this inanimate object tell you whether or not you're going to have a good day, you were good, that just drives me crazy. Oh, I was so good this weekend. I don't understand why it's not showing up on the scale. Stop it. Just stop already. All this is a tool that's saying this is how much your body happens to weigh today. And it's not giving you all of the metrics that you need in order to make a determination. Is this helpful for me? But I will say this, that if it's something that shows up and you make a decision that the scale is going to determine the good or the bad of your day, or your worth even, it's got to go. It's got to go. There's my friends reviewed and approved. Hey, how you doing? Stop. We have to stop with that now. The scale doesn't have that kind of power unless you give it that kind of power. And if you're finding it to be an impediment in your growth and in how you feel about yourself, then it's just put it away for right now and let your baggy underwear tell the story. If you're on a weight loss journey, allow something else to do it for you. You don't need that kind of bullying every single day. So let's just let that one go. Number 2 is your bank account or your pretend account. Okay. There's a lot of people who pride themselves on the amount of money that they have, or even the appearance of money, that everything is contingent on cash. Isn't this crazy? And I will tell you, that's not helpful. And your value cannot be calculated by how many digits are in your checking account or your bank account or your stock portfolio or whatever else that you have. Can it? Money can't buy you self-worth, lovelies. Just cannot. But there's nothing wrong with having a good bank account. Just don't allow it to dictate your worth. Your worth is beyond measure. Okay? Oops, I'm dropping hints on what's coming up, but it's the truth. Number 3, your achievement. Now, degrees, initials behind your name, accolades, awards, fill in the blank. I don't know, whatever else that it is. Those things will never fill your self-worth cup, ever. Your cup will not be filled to overflowing because you have more initials on the end of your name. They will not. You've heard me say before, MD does not stand for medical deity, right? No, it doesn't. They're human beings with advanced degrees. And yes, good, let's give them their accolades. But that also doesn't determine their worth. There are bad doctors sitting in jail right now because, they've gone a wrong way. I told you about the ophthalmologist that my mother used to see for her glaucoma. And we went to go to an appointment and their whole place was locked down and he was in jail for dealing Oxycontin. Come on, bad doctors exist. MD does not stand for medical deity. And all the initials behind your name are never, ever, ever going to give you the self-worth full cup that you want. That's not where you get it. And it's not, and number 4 is it's not from who you know. Just because you're hanging your star on somebody else's wagon or dragging behind and name dropping, I hang out with so-and-so and these are the people that, I hang out, I'm part of a power couple and all that garbage. Is this what we're looking for to feel good? Well, don't do it. That's not going to get you what it is that you want. Again, that's not it. Number 5 is holier, healthier, and smarter than thou. Because I will tell you this game of one-upsmanship, and you see it everywhere, every single social media channel, it's out there. And I've seen some really dismal stuff posted, especially, lately on TikTok, because we had lots and lots of comments. And people will come in, oh, L-glutamine, doesn't work. What? That's a bunch of garbage, and you just need willpower. Who are these people to dictate to others how they should be living their lives, right? Who are they? You don't just need willpower. And nobody has permission, unless you give it to them, to tell them how you should be living your life. Allow people to give you suggestions. Allow people to say, maybe this would work for you. But don't allow them to come in and put the thumb down on your life and what it is that you want to go for. Your life is so much more important than that to allow these people to chitter chatter and to take away your joy. For people to come in and to start taking and pulling from what it is that you want to accomplish in your life. Your life is so much more important than that. These are complete strangers, by the way. We allow complete strangers to just take it away from us. Hey, Doodle, L-glutamine is not safe for pregnancy unless you check with your doctor and your doctor says go ahead and use it. But pregnant and nursing women should not use anything unless they check with their doctor first, or if you have a chronic condition. So we've got theologians, we have epidemiologists, and we have overall smarty pants experts all over the internet, don't we? A lot of times they don't have those initials behind their name. They've just gone to the Facebook University of know-it-allism, and they just decide it's time to put it all out there. And have you noticed how they always, no matter what the crisis, they are always the experts on the next thing that's come up. That's something that we have to deal with. We saw this during the pandemic. We saw this during, all kinds of stuff. I'm not even going to get into all of that. But it is a type of one-upsmanship. And do you know what psychologists say about this? That those who practice this kind of one-upsmanship, holier than thou, more healthier than thou, more whatever, and they do it with religion, health. They're not what their perceived amount of knowledge is. They do it with being smarter, and all of that. Psychologists say that these people are 25% more likely to be narcissists. Doesn't that fit the equation right there? So keep that in mind. We all see it. Don't be cowed by them, okay? Right? Don't be cowed. Everyone get behind me. You're right, exactly. I mean, are we done with this? Are we done with that kind of garbage? why do we allow people, especially people we don't even know, in these kind of situations to get under our skin? You know, remember something, and this is going to be point one here in just a minute. Remember who you are and whose you are, right? You're here on purpose and for purpose. And these people who have nothing better to do with their lives than to get in there and to start raining on your parade, most 25% chance of being a narcissist. Do you want that in your life? A strange narcissist. We don't even want the ones that we love doing their garbage and their dirty work, let alone a stranger. So what do we do instead of these measuring tools? What measuring tools do we use to measure our worth? And I do have some. You ready for them? Let's go with it. First of all, I want you to remember this phrase, because this is, to me, this came to me when I was getting ready for this show and everything. And simplicity is the path to genius. And the reason that I say this is that oftentimes the most simplest things, just easy button type of ways of doing things, get you right where you want to go. We tend to add complexity into the situation. We add a lot of stuff in there that doesn't need to be there. So remember, simplicity always. First things first. Let's keep it simple. I don't know about you, but I don't need to pile on. Amen? Pinkies up, ladies. Come on. Number one is know who you are and whose you are. I say this so often, but I have to say this one more time. Your purpose is intentional, and it's here, and you're here right now on purpose and for purpose, or you wouldn't be here. That's all there is to it. It's that simple. Remember, I said simplicity is the path to genius. This is the truth. Understand that and meditate on that and believe that with all of your heart, because why else would you be here? There's no point. Number two, express your needs vocally, do it kindly, and do it definitively. If you have no voice, you have no life, and you have no self-esteem. Now, hear me on this. One of the things that, and I did this, I'm so guilty with this, and this is why this is so important for me to share this, that when we don't express our needs or we drop hints, right? What are we doing? Playing I Spy with my little eye about our lives? Really? Come on. We need to be extraordinarily clear on what it is that we want. We don't sit there and wish upon a star that our spouses, our children, people in our lives are going to figure out what it is that we want. They're not mind readers. Your hints aren't good enough. And woman, lovely woman, and I'm talking to you if you're feeling this right now, use your voice. Be clear. This is what I want. This is not acceptable. I want this instead. Kindly, with a smile. We never have to be shrews, ever, ever. Stay the course to what it is that you want. If you don't use your voice, then you don't get to have a say in your life. It's that simple. So if we can do this, if we can start showing up and speaking up in a kind and very definitive way, then we're going to get the very things that we want in our lives. Number three, this is going to be so obvious, but listen to me. Do the things that bring you joy. Did you hear me? Do things that bring you joy, and do it wholeheartedly with everything that you have. The things that you love will bring you joy, and it's contentment and satisfaction and accomplishment and achievement, all wrapped into one. Allow that to feed your soul. We are all like this. This is what we all want. We all want to see some kind of, look at, I did this. I made this. I cooked this. I decorated this. I love TikTok. I love TikTok. But I love TikTok because you are watching. This is what I see. I see all the time. I see women who say, I've never handled the power tools before. They go out, they gut their bathroom, and they just do it. Now, I'm sure there was like a heck of a lot of YouTube videos, but you know what I love? I love that they're not afraid. They're not holding back. They're going to do it anyway. Maybe they are afraid. They're afraid, but they're doing it anyway. That's courage, capital C. That's what we all want. We all want that kind of courageousness because we want to have that kind of a life. We don't sit on the sidelines and wait for it. We go out and make it happen ourselves. So when you do something that you enjoy, even if it's something that's scary and hard and new and what have you, but you do it courageously anyway, that's when you start getting a dopamine hit. You start feeling a little bit good about yourself, and you start thinking, you know what, I can do more things. I can do the hard things, and I'm here for that. Number 4 is to love your people, express your appreciation, and do that on the regular. You know, we think so often, this is the truth. Tell me if I'm not right. But we think, oh, of course they know that I appreciate them. Of course, maybe your husband gives you a cup of coffee every morning and says, here you go, sweetheart. You say, thank you. And you're always saying thank you and everything. But have you ever just said on the side, like one day over dinner and just say, every morning you always give me that cup of coffee. Do you know how much I appreciate that? Do you know how sweet that is for me? Mark told me a long time ago, he said, the fact that you say those little things just fill him with joy. We can do that. Boy, that one little sentence to just fill somebody's little cup of self-worth and make them feel good and know that you're noticing and you see it and you appreciate it. It's everything. Number 5, self-care is your healthcare. Am I right? Tell me I'm not right. Self-care is your healthcare. When you start taking care of yourself, you start having a better outcome with what your total health is because you're involved with yourself. You're no longer putting yourself on the end of the list. You're no longer the last one to get anything. You are now in charge of your heart, mind, body, and soul. That's the way it's supposed to work. All of you needs all of the love. We are not fragment parts of women. We are the whole woman. This is why we always say this. That's why we always say you can't divorce yourself from your body and just go on a diet and it's all about that. You are not a pair of jeans. You're not a color of a lipstick. This is not who you are. The entirety and the synergy of who you are is what makes you you. And that needs to be honored. And when we start to do that and start to self-care, love ourselves up, it is an outward form of love to yourself. And we need that. You need that. I need that. Because it's one thing to have somebody bring you maybe a cup of coffee, but it's another thing for you to say, you know what? I'm going to unplug a little bit. I'm going to go take an Epsom salt bath. I'm going to recharge a little bit. It just feeds your soul. Trust me on that one. Put it in your schedule on the regular. Number 6 is to play, dance, and sing. You know what this does? This just gives the dopamine going. Play, dance, and sing. Let your heart soar. Put something on music-wise that makes you just want to shake it and you don't care who's watching, right? Yeah, we all know the cliche. But the point is that when we have this thing happening, we feel so much better after we maybe shake our groove thing a little bit. Why not? And number 7, I've got one for you. If you're not doing this, listen to me. This is one of the most important things you can ever do. And it's gratitude. Gratitude will never let you down. Gratitude will feed you heart, mind, body, and soul. And it will get you out of the doldrums. It will get you out of yourself and out of just, feeling bad about yourself. Because the thing is with gratitude, and especially anger, gratitude and anger cannot coexist together, can they? And for those of you who are partnered up and you have somebody in your life and you have for a while, you can get on each other's nerves. But if you just park the anger for just half a second, say, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'll deal with all of this stuff once I've cooled off. In the meantime, it's time to start loving up your spouse, maybe, with having this bit of gratitude for everything. I have gratitude that, he doesn't leave his socks all over the floor. Gratitude, or maybe he does leave his socks all over the floor. I don't know. I have gratitude for the fixer-upper stuff that he's done. I have gratitude for all these things. That's what I'm saying to you. Start there and allow gratitude to fill your heart. It's a higher level thing. It's high vibe all the way. And it will make you feel better And then you can deal with the anger stuff with a cooler head. That's what I'm saying. I'm never saying ignore your anger or ignore whatever that needs resolution. But I'm saying, why not start first with some gratitude and allow that to fill you up? So here's the thing that I want to say to you. If you're going to measure with these 7 tools. Those tools are going to fill your little self-worth cup to overflowing in abundance. And when you fill your little cup to overflow and abundance, you see things completely different. I want you to have love-colored lenses in your glasses. I want you to feel good about yourself. I want you to feel good about your family. And I want you to see yourself in the light that God sees you. Beautiful just as you are, fearfully and wonderfully made, here on purpose and for purpose. And don't you ever forget that. I appreciate you all. Pinky's up to you, Nancy. And I hope to see some of you at Full Bloom. If you missed today's announcements, they're at savingdinner.com/announcements. And don't forget, this is the only way that you're going to get the Vibrant Body Detox. That is our special of the week, buy 2, get 1 free. It's right there in the announcements. All right? You're all so wonderful. I really appreciate you all. Peace be with you. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.